Welcome to MystiChrono. For millennia, the name Atlantis has haunted our imagination. A lost civilization swallowed by the sea. Mainstream academia calls it a fable, a philosophical allegory by Plato. But what if it's more? What if Plato was preserving a memory of a real place, a real people, and a real catastrophe? Tonight, we challenge the myth, tracing the legend to its source and connecting it to real-world cataclysms and underwater discoveries that defy explanation. Join me as we uncover whether Atlantis is a mere story or a warning echoing from a forgotten chapter of human history. The tale of Atlantis begins with Plato, who, in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, claimed he was passing down a true account from Solon, who heard it from Egyptian priests. These priests described a mighty island empire beyond the Pillars of Hercules, Atlantis, that waged war against the Mediterranean world 9,000 years before their time. Plato insisted this was not a parable but a preserved history from ancient temple records. Why would Plato, a philosopher devoted to truth, risk his reputation on a fabricated backstory? The academic world says it's all allegory. But Plato's account is filled with precise details: geography, measurements, royal lineages, and a timeline for destruction. This isn't the hazy stuff of myth. It reads like a historical record. Are we to believe Plato invented an elaborate lineage just to make a philosophical point? Or was he preserving a memory of a civilization that predates our accepted timeline? The Egyptians claim to have survived repeated cataclysms, preserving records lost to the Greeks. Could they have been telling the truth? The story of Atlantis is the thread that, if pulled, could unravel everything we think we know about our past. Was Plato reporting a myth or a memory of a world lost to time? Plato's Atlantis isn't just a legend, it's described with astonishing detail. He depicts a city of concentric rings of land and water connected by grand canals with bridges, gates, and towers. The city's walls gleamed with brass, tin, and the mysterious orichalcum. Its temples were covered in silver and gold. Some traditions even claim the Atlanteans harnessed the power of crystals for energy and healing. Atlantis was ruled by 10 kings, had a codified legal system, a vast navy, and a population capable of fielding immense armies. These are not the marks of a primitive society, but of a complex, technologically advanced civilization. The specificity, dimensions, materials, layouts, suggests a real place, not a vague allegory. Mainstream archaeology insists such a civilization couldn't have existed 11,000 years ago. Yet Plato describes a society that rivals, or surpasses, our own. Was this the product of imagination or a memory of a lost world whose achievements have been ignored? The contradiction is stark and demands we reconsider what we know about ancient history. Atlantis' end was apocalyptic. A single day and night of earthquakes and floods swallowed the island whole. For centuries, this was dismissed as fantasy. But is it? Modern disasters, tsunamis, megaquakes, show us nature's terrifying power. The end of the last ice age, around 12,800 to 11,600 years ago, was marked by violent climate change and catastrophic flooding. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis suggests a comet struck Earth, triggering global firestorms, rapid ice melt, and sudden sea level rise. Such an event could have erased entire civilizations in days. Plato's timeline for Atlantis' destruction aligns eerily with this period. The establishment resists this idea, preferring a slow, linear history. But the evidence points to a world shaped by sudden, devastating cataclysms. When we read Plato's account, we shouldn't ask if such destruction is possible. We know it is. The real question: was Atlantis a casualty of this global event? Was Plato's story a myth or a preserved memory of a civilization lost to a planetary disaster? The rocks beneath our feet may hold the answer. To explain Atlantis, academia often points to the Minoan civilization of Crete, destroyed by the Terra eruption around 1600 BC. The Minoans were advanced, maritime, and their end was sudden and violent. Archaeologists claim the memory of Terra's eruption became the Atlantis myth, distorted over centuries. But Plato is clear. Atlantis lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules, not in the Mediterranean, and its destruction was 9,000 years before Solon, not 1,600 BC. The Minoan hypothesis requires ignoring Plato's specifics: location, date, and the scale of Atlantis. It's an attempt to shrink the mystery to fit the known world. Instead, the Minoan collapse may be another example of a recurring pattern: civilizations erased by cataclysm. The Minoan story doesn't solve the Atlantis mystery, it deepens it. It shows how entire cultures can vanish overnight. We must look for the original event, on the scale and in the time frame Plato described. The Minoan clue is not the answer, but a reminder of how fragile civilization can be. The real Atlantis, if it existed, was far older, larger, and more mysterious. The search continues. Academics claim there's no evidence for a lost civilization from 11 to 600 years ago. But what if we've already found it, submerged beneath the waves? At the end of the last ice age, sea levels were much lower. Now drowned coastlines were once habitable. If Atlantis existed, its ruins would be underwater. And that's exactly where we find mysterious structures. In India's Gulf of Cambay, sonar revealed a massive city 120 feet down, with artifacts dated to 9,500 years ago. Off Japan, the Yonaguni Monument, a vast terraced stone structure, bears uncanny signs of artificial construction. In the Caribbean, sonar scans off Cuba show geometric stone formations 2,000 feet deep, defying conventional timelines. Even in the Mediterranean, cities like Heraklion were swallowed by the sea after earthquakes. Around the world, divers find anomalous ruins, dismissed as natural or irrelevant. But what if these are not isolated mysteries, but fragments of a global drowned civilization? The evidence is there, ignored, explained away, or left unexamined. The real problem isn't a lack of evidence, but a refusal to see the pattern. The map of the ancient world is hidden beneath the waves, waiting to be rediscovered. Plato's story may be less fantasy and more a reflection of a global reality. The secrets of our true past lie underwater. We stand at a crossroads. Accept the safe, linear story of our past, or confront the possibility that we are a species with amnesia. Maybe Atlantis wasn't a myth, but a warning, a civilization that soared, then fell to catastrophe. Their story, encoded in myth, was meant to remind us of nature's power and our own vulnerability. The forces that destroyed Atlantis are not gone. They are only sleeping. Will we heed the warning or repeat the same mistakes? You've been watching MystiChrono, where the past whispers through time. Subscribe for more mysteries the world tries to bury beneath the waves.